Hey, and welcome back to JBC English Learning Academy. My name is Laura, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to clear, confident, and natural English. If you truly love Jesus, like the video, subscribe to the channel, keep watching the video believing in Jesus, you will learn something good, and comment to let us know what you are watching. Your support truly helps this channel grow. Alright, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's session. Let me start with a simple question. Have you ever had a moment where you wanted something, but you did not know how to ask for it? Maybe you wanted a better price. Maybe you wanted more time. Maybe you wanted respect or understanding or a chance to explain yourself. You felt something strong inside, but the words did not come out clearly. Your heart was fast. Your mind was full. And the moment passed. That moment, my friend, was already a negotiation, even if you did not know it. And today, in this long and gentle story, I want to take you on a journey into the art of negotiation, not as a business skill, not as a fight, but as a quiet human conversation. Welcome to JBC English Learning Academy. Please relax, slow down your breathing, and let the English flow into you naturally, like a calm river. You do not need to understand every word. Just listen, feel, and stay with the story. Our story begins on a soft morning. The kind of morning where the air feels clean and the world is not loud yet. Imagine a man named Daniel. Daniel is not famous. He is not rich. He is not powerful. He is just like many of us. He works hard. He tries to be kind. And he often stays silent when he should speak. On this morning, Daniel is sitting at a small table in a cafe. The cup of coffee in front of him is warm, but his hands are cold. Today is important. Today, Daniel will have a conversation that could change his life. He does not know it yet, but this conversation will teach him what negotiation really is. Not tricks, not pressure, but understanding. Daniel is waiting to meet his manager. He wants to ask for a better position at work. He has worked there for 5 years. He has learned many things. But he has never asked for more. Why? Because he is afraid. Afraid of saying the wrong thing. Afraid of sounding rude. Afraid of being rejected. As he waits, his mind starts to speak to him. It says, "What if they say no?" It says, "What if they think you are not good enough?" It says, "Maybe you should just stay quiet." Have you ever heard that voice inside you? That voice that tells you to stay small? That voice is very common. And negotiation often begins with learning how to calm that voice. As Daniel waits, he looks around the cafe. He sees 2 people at another table. They're talking softly. One person smiles. The other listens carefully. They move their hands slowly. There is no anger, no stress, just calm talking. Daniel watches them and feels something strange. He feels that conversation can be gentle. It does not have to be a fight. And this is the first lesson of negotiation. Negotiation is not war. It is not about winning and losing. It is about sharing needs, listening to needs, and finding a place where both sides can stand. Let us pause here for a moment. Take a deep breath. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. Negotiation starts with calm. If your body is tense, your words will be tense. If your mind is rushed, your message will be unclear. English, especially spoken English, becomes much more natural when your body is relaxed. This is why we tell stories slowly. This is why we listen first. Daniel's manager arrives. She sits down. She smiles politely. "Good morning, Daniel," she says. Her voice is neutral. Not warm. Not cold. Just open. Daniel feels his heart beat faster. He wants to start talking quickly, before he loses courage. But something stops him. He remembers something he read once. Start with listening. So he does something different. He asks, "How are you today?" It is a simple question. Very simple English. But it changes the energy. His manager looks surprised. Then she answers honestly. She talks about her busy week. She talks about pressure. Daniel listens. He does not interrupt. He does not think about his answer. He just listens. And without knowing it, he is already negotiating. Here is a powerful truth. When you listen, you learn what the other person needs. When you understand their needs, your words become stronger. Many English learners think negotiation is about strong vocabulary, big words, perfect grammar. But that is not true. Negotiation is about timing, tone, and care. Simple English, spoken clearly, can be very powerful. After a few minutes, there is a small silence. Daniel feels it is time. But instead of asking directly for what he wants, he shares his story. He says, "I have enjoyed working here. I learned a lot. I want to grow more." His sentences are short. His words are simple. But they're honest. He is not attacking. He is not demanding. He is opening a door. This is another lesson. Negotiation is an invitation, not a command. His manager listens now. She leans back slightly. She thinks. Then she asks a question. "What kind of growth are you looking for?" This is important. She did not say no. She did not say yes. She asked a question. This means the conversation is alive. Many people think negotiation ends when someone does not say yes immediately. But real negotiation lives in questions. Questions are bridges. Daniel answers slowly. He talks about responsibility, about learning, about contributing more. He does not mention money yet. He focuses on value, what he can give, not just what he wants to take. And something shifts in the room. The air feels lighter. The conversation feels equal. This is transformation. Daniel is no longer a silent worker. He is a speaker, a participant. Now let us step out of the cafe for a moment and talk directly to you, the listener. You may think, this is easy for Daniel, but not for me. But that is not true. The words Daniel used were not special. The grammar was not advanced. What made the difference was clarity and emotion. When you speak English with purpose, even simple sentences carry weight. When you slow down, people listen more. The manager finally speaks again. She says, "Let me think about this. There may be an opportunity soon." Daniel feels a mix of feelings. Relief, fear, hope. The conversation is not finished. There is no clear answer yet. But something important has happened. Daniel has changed. He has crossed an invisible line. He spoke up. And that is the heart of negotiation. Not control, but courage. As Daniel leaves the cafe, he walks slowly. He feels taller. Not because he got what he wanted, but because he respected himself. He realizes that negotiation is not just about results. It is about self-expression. It is about saying, "This is who I am. This is what I need," and allowing the other person to respond. Let us reflect together. Think about your own life. Where are you negotiating without knowing it? At work? At home? With friends? With yourself? Every time you choose silence or speech, you are making a negotiation. Learning English at a higher level is not just about more words. It is about using words with intention. Here is your takeaway from this first part of our story. Negotiation begins with listening. It grows with honesty. And it becomes powerful when you stay calm and clear. You do not need complex English. You need real English. spoken from a real place inside you. In the next part of our journey, we will follow Daniel into a more difficult situation. A moment where calm listening is not easy. A moment where emotions rise and words become dangerous. We will see how negotiation works when the S. The next part of our story begins a few weeks later, and the feeling is very different. The air is heavier now. The calm cafe is gone. Daniel is standing in a small meeting room at work. The walls are white. The lights are bright. There is no window. This time, the negotiation is not quiet or gentle. This time, emotions are already awake. Daniel has been given a new project, but there is a problem. The deadline is too short. Very short. He knows it. His body knows it. His stomach feels tight. His shoulders feel hard. And around the table, there are other people. His manager. A team leader. 2 coworkers. Everyone looks serious. This is where many people lose their voice. This is where English disappears. Have you ever been in a room like this? A room where you feel small and everyone else feels bigger? If yes, stay with this story. This part is for you. The manager starts speaking. Her voice is firm. She explains the project. She explains the deadline. She says it must be done in 2 weeks. Daniel's mind starts racing. 2 weeks is not enough. Not if the quality must be good. Not if the team is small. He wants to speak, but his throat feels dry. His English feels weak. He thinks if I speak, I might sound stupid. This thought is very common for English learners. But remember this. Silence also sends a message. Silence says, I agree, even when you do not. And this is where many negotiations fail before they begin. The team leader speaks next. He agrees with the deadline. He says it is challenging, but possible. Daniel feels pressure. If everyone agrees, how can he disagree? This is another important lesson. Negotiation is often not one against one. Sometimes it is one against many. And in these moments, emotional control becomes more important than perfect English. Daniel remembers something from his cafe conversation weeks ago. He remembers the power of calm. He takes a slow breath. Not a big one, just a small one. Enough to slow his heart. Then he does something brave. He does not argue. He does not say you are wrong. He asks a question. He says, can I ask something about the timeline? His voice is soft, but steady. The room becomes quiet. All eyes turn to him. This moment feels long. Very long. But it is also powerful. Asking a question gives you space. It gives you safety. It invites discussion instead of conflict. The manager nods. Go ahead, she says. Daniel continues. He speaks slowly. He chooses simple words. I want to do good work. I am worried that 2 weeks may affect quality. That is all. No long explanation. No drama. Just honesty. Something interesting happens. No one attacks him. No one laughs. The team leader looks down at the table. One coworker nods slightly. The emotion in the room shifts. This is the hidden magic of negotiation. When one person speaks truth calmly, others feel permission to be honest too. The manager responds. She sounds thoughtful now. What do you suggest? She asks. This is a gift. It is an opening. Many people complain without offering solutions. But negotiation is not just about problems. It is about paths forward. Daniel did not plan this moment. But he is ready. He suggests a small change. Not a big one. Just 1 more week. 3 weeks instead of 2. He explains how this extra time can improve results. He does not blame anyone. He focuses on outcomes. Better quality. Less stress. Stronger teamwork. There is silence again. Silence is not always bad. Silence is thinking time. The manager looks at the calendar. She asks the team leader a question. They discuss quietly. Daniel waits. He does not interrupt. Waiting is also part of negotiation. Many English learners feel the need to fill silence with words. But silence can speak for you. Finally, the manager looks up. We can adjust the deadline, she says. 3 weeks. Daniel feels something warm in his chest. Relief. Pride. Not because he won, but because he participated. He did not stay silent. He did not explode with emotion. He stayed calm. This is transformation again. Small but deep. Now let us slow down and reflect. What really happened here? Daniel did not use advanced English. He did not give a long speech. He did not argue loudly. He asked a clear question. He expressed concern. He offered a solution. This is the heart of emotional negotiation. When emotions are high, your words must be simple and steady. Think of your voice as a hand. If it shakes too much, people pull away. If it is calm, people trust it. But let us be honest. It does not always go this smoothly. Sometimes emotions rise faster. Sometimes people interrupt. Sometimes voices become sharp. Let us imagine another moment in the same room. Later that day, a coworker approaches Daniel. The coworker sounds annoyed. He says, "You made us look weak in the meeting." This is a dangerous moment. This is where negotiation can turn into conflict. Daniel feels anger rise. His face feels hot. He wants to defend himself. He wants to say many things. But he remembers one key rule. When emotions are loud, slow your words. Daniel looks at his coworker. He keeps his voice low. He says, "That was not my intention. I wanted us to succeed. That is all." Short sentence. Clear meaning. The coworker pauses. He did not expect this answer. He expected a fight. Instead, he got calm. After a moment, he sighs. He says, "Yeah, I guess quality matters." And just like that, the tension softens. Not gone, but softer. This is also negotiation. Not for time, not for money, but for respect. As confidence grows, the learner begins to notice another hidden layer of news, time and context, because news often speaks about now, this moment, today, but stories do not begin today. They have roots, and this is where critical analysis becomes deeper. And listening becomes richer, and one morning, the learner hears a report that sounds shocking, something new, something sudden, but a small voice inside asks, "Is it really new?" And this question opens a door, and the learner starts to listen. Differently, they listen for background, for history, for what came before, and sometimes the news gives it, sometimes it hides it, and this absence becomes meaningful, and this is the challenge. Understanding that what is not said is sometimes as important as what is said, and the learner explores this by listening to different sources, different days, different voices, slowly building a bigger picture, like adding pieces to a puzzle, and English listening improves because repetition helps. Familiar words return, structures repeat, and meaning becomes stronger, and then comes a realization that feels empowering. News is a moment, but understanding is a journey, and when the learner accepts this, transformation happens again. Patience replaces urgency, curiosity replaces fear, and the learner no longer feels lost in fast news cycles because they are building their own understanding over time, and in reflection, they feel proud because learning English through news is no longer stressful, it is meaningful, it connects language to life, and the takeaway settles gently to analyze news critically. You must give yourself time, because truth is not always loud, but it is consistent, and when you listen over time, English becomes not just something you hear, but something you understand deeply. Now, let us talk directly to you again. When you negotiate in English, especially at a higher level, your biggest enemy is not grammar. It is speed. When you speak too fast, your emotions control you. When you slow down, you control the moment. Practice speaking slower than you think you should. It feels strange at first, but it gives your listener time to understand. And it gives you time to think. Think about the English you heard in this story. Very simple. Very direct. This is not beginner English. This is strong English. Strong English is not about sounding smart. It is about being understood. And when you are understood, you gain influence. At the end of the day, Daniel walks home. The sky is darker now. The city sounds are louder. But inside, he feels quieter. He thinks about how different this meeting was from others in the past. Before, he would stay silent and feel angry later. Now he spoke and felt calm after. This is an important reflection. Unspoken words often turn into stress. Spoken words, when chosen carefully, turn into solutions. Here is your takeaway from this part of the story. When emotions rise, slow down. Ask questions instead of making accusations. Use simple, honest sentences. Offer solutions, not just problems. And remember, negotiation is not about being the loudest voice. It is about being the clearest one. In the next part of our journey, Daniel will face a negotiation that is even more personal. Not at work, not in a meeting room, but in a place where emotions are deepest and words matter the most. A place many of us find the hardest to negotiate in any language. Home. Now we move into a quieter space, but do not be fooled. This is where negotiation becomes the most difficult. There are no managers here, no meeting tables, no clear rules, only feelings, history, and love. This part of our story takes place in Daniel's home on an evening that feels ordinary at first. The sun is going down. The room is soft with warm light. The television is on, but no one is really watching. Daniel sits on the couch. Across from him sits Emma, his partner. They have been together for many years. They know each other's habits, smiles, and silences. And this is exactly why negotiation here is so hard. When you know someone deeply, every word carries weight. Daniel has been thinking about something for a long time. A possible move to another city. A better job opportunity. More growth. More challenge. But also more distance from family. More change. He has not spoken about it yet. Not because he does not trust Emma, but because he is afraid. Afraid of disappointing her. Afraid of conflict. Afraid that his English, his words, will fail him again. Many people think negotiation at home should be easy, but often it is the opposite. At home, we are emotionally naked. And when emotions are naked, words must be gentle. Emma senses something. She looks at Daniel and asks, "You seem quiet. Are you okay?" This is a simple question, but it opens a door. Daniel feels his heart beat faster. This is the moment. He could say, "I'm fine." He could close the door. But he remembers everything he has learned. Listening. Calm. Honesty. He takes a breath. He says, "I have something on my mind." His voice is soft. Emma turns off the television. She gives him her full attention. This is important. Negotiation needs attention to survive. Daniel begins slowly. He does not start with the job. He starts with feelings. I have been thinking about my future, he says. About growth. These are simple words, but they carry meaning. Emma listens. She does not interrupt. She lets the silence exist. Silence here is trust. Daniel continues. He explains the opportunity. Another city. Another role. More responsibility. As he speaks, he watches Emma's face. He sees concern. He sees fear. And he feels guilt. This is the challenge part of negotiation. When your need creates fear in someone you love. Emma responds. Her voice is emotional. But our life is here, she says. Our friends. Our family. Her words are not angry. They are protective. She is negotiating too. She is protecting her world. This is a key realization. Negotiation is never one-sided. Everyone is protecting something important to them. Daniel listens. He does not argue. He repeats what he hears. You are worried about losing what we have here. This simple sentence changes everything. Emma nods. She feels understood. When people feel understood, they soften. This is a powerful skill in English. Paraphrasing. Saying the same idea in your own simple words. It shows care. It shows respect. The conversation continues. Slowly. Carefully. They talk about fears. About hopes. About possibilities. Daniel does not push for a decision. He does not demand agreement. He says, I want to think about this together. This sentence is a bridge. It turns negotiation into partnership. Emma's shoulders relax. She says, I need time. Daniel nods. Me too, he says. And in that moment, something beautiful happens. The negotiation becomes a shared journey, not a fight. Let us pause and reflect again. Notice how little English was used. Short sentences. Clear emotions. No complex structure. This is advanced communication. Advanced English is not about showing knowledge. It is about creating connection. At home, especially, your tone matters more than your words. If your tone is soft, your message can be strong without hurting. Later that night, Daniel lies in bed. He thinks about the conversation. It was not finished. There was no final answer. But it felt right. It felt honest. This is another lesson. Not all negotiations end with a result. Some end with understanding. And understanding is often the real victory. Now, think about your own home conversations. How many times have you stayed silent to keep peace? How many times have you spoken too fast and caused pain? Negotiation at home asks us to slow down the most, to choose words with care, to listen not just to words, but to emotions behind them. Here is your takeaway from this part of the story. The hardest negotiations are with the people we love. Start with feelings, not demands. Listen deeply. Reflect back what you hear. And remember, negotiation is not about changing the other person. It is about finding a way forward together. In the next part of our journey, Daniel will face a negotiation where he has very little power. A place where saying the wrong thing could close doors. A place many English learners fear deeply. Negotiation with strangers. Our story continues in a place that feels cold and unfamiliar. The walls are gray. The chairs are hard. The people do not smile much. Daniel is sitting in an office where he feels very small. This is not his workplace. This is not his home. This is a government building. He is here because of paperwork connected to the possible move to another city. Forms, rules, requirements. In places like this, many people feel powerless. And when you feel powerless, your English often disappears. Your mouth goes dry. Your mind goes blank. You feel like every word might be wrong. This is one of the hardest negotiation environments of all. Daniel's number is called. He stands up and walks to the desk. Behind the desk sits a woman with a neutral face. She does not look angry. She does not look kind. She looks tired. She asks for his documents. Daniel hands them over. She looks at the papers. She frowns slightly. This small movement creates fear. Daniel's heart beats faster. She says, "This form is incomplete." For simple words. But they feel heavy. In this moment, many people panic. They apologize too much. Or they become defensive. Or they say nothing. All of these responses can make things worse. Daniel remembers something important. Even when you have no power, you still have your voice. Negotiation here is not about changing rules. It is about managing the interaction. He keeps his voice calm. He says, "I'm sorry. Could you please tell me what is missing?" This sentence is very simple, but it does three things. It shows respect. It asks for information. And it keeps the conversation open. The woman looks at him again. Her expression softens just a little. She points to a section on the form. She explains what is missing. Her voice is still flat, but now it is helpful. Daniel listens carefully. He does not interrupt. He nods. He says, "Thank you for explaining." Gratitude is a powerful tool in negotiation, especially when you have less power. It does not make you weak. It makes you human. Daniel asks another question. Is there a way to fix this today? This is negotiation in its purest form. He is not demanding. He is exploring options. The woman thinks for a moment. She says, "You can fill it out now and come back." It is not perfect, but it is a path forward. Daniel thanks her again. He steps aside to complete the form. As he writes, he reflects. He did not raise his voice. He did not use complex English. He did not try to sound important. He stayed calm. He asked clear questions. And because of that, the situation did not become hostile. This is a major realization. Negotiation is not always about changing the outcome. Sometimes it is about changing the experience. Daniel returns to the desk. The woman checks the form again. She nods. "This is fine," she says. Daniel feels relief. He thanks her once more. As he walks away, he notices something interesting. He feels stronger. Not because the system changed, but because he navigated it with dignity. Now let us speak directly to you again. Think about the places where you feel powerless. Offices, airports, hospitals, immigration desks, customer service counters. These places can make even confident speakers feel small. But remember this. Simple, polite English is your strongest tool here. You do not need to explain your whole life. You need to ask clear questions and listen carefully. Notice the rhythm of Daniel's speech. Short sentences, pauses, respectful tone. This rhythm helps listeners process your words, especially in stressful environments. When you practice English listening, pay attention not just to words, but to pacing. Slow pacing creates safety. Later that day, Daniel sits outside on a bench. The air feels fresh again. He thinks about all the different negotiations he has faced recently. At work, at home, with strangers. And he sees a pattern. Negotiation is everywhere. It is not a special skill for special people. It is a daily practice of communication. Here is your takeaway from this part of the story. Even when you have no power, you still have influence. Stay calm. Be polite. Ask questions. Express gratitude. These small actions can change the tone of any interaction. In the final part of our journey, Daniel will look back on everything he has learned. And we will bring all these lessons together into one clear understanding of what negotiation really is and how your English can carry you through it. Now our story slows down. There is no meeting room, no desk, no forms, just a quiet morning and a man who has changed. Daniel is walking through a park. The trees are tall. The air is cool. People pass by, each carrying their own thoughts, their own worries, their own negotiations. Daniel walks slowly, not because he is tired, but because he is thinking. When life becomes busy, we forget to notice how much we grow. This walk is his moment of reflection. He thinks about the cafe weeks ago when he first spoke up to his manager. He remembers how afraid he was and how simple the words were. He thinks about the meeting room where emotions were high and how asking a calm question changed the outcome. He thinks about his home, sitting with Emma, choosing honesty over silence. And he thinks about the government office where he had no power but still found his voice. All these moments are connected by one quiet truth. Negotiation is not about control. It is about communication. As Daniel walks, he realizes something important. He is not negotiating better because his English is perfect. His grammar is still not perfect. His vocabulary is still simple. But his intention is clear. He speaks with purpose now. He listens more than he speaks. And when he does speak, his words come from a calm place. This is what makes his English strong. Let us pause here and breathe together one last time. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. Feel how calm creates space. Space for understanding. Space for growth. This is the space where good English lives. Daniel sits on a bench and watches people. A mother speaks to a child. Two friends discuss plans. A couple argues quietly. A man talks on the phone, his voice tense. Daniel sees negotiation everywhere now. Not as conflict, but as connection. Every conversation is a small negotiation. Every sentence is a choice. He thinks about the future, the move, the job, the unknown. Nothing is fully decided yet. But he is no longer afraid of conversations. He knows that whatever comes, he can face it with words. Simple words. Honest words. And that gives him peace. Now let us turn fully to you, the listener, the learner, the storyteller in your own life. You may think that negotiation is something far away, something for business people or lawyers. But today, you have seen it in everyday life. You negotiate when you ask. This final part of our story does not begin in a new place. It begins inside Daniel. Some time has passed now. Weeks, maybe months. The possible move is still being discussed. Work continues. Life continues. But something has changed quietly and deeply. Daniel is no longer the same person who sat nervously in the cafe at the beginning of our journey. He is not suddenly confident in every situation. He does not always know the right words. But he understands something very important now. Negotiation is not a moment. It is a mindset. One evening, Daniel goes for a walk alone. The sky is wide. The city lights are soft. As he walks, he thinks about all the conversations that shaped him. The cafe conversation where he first spoke up. The meeting room where he faced pressure. The home conversation where emotions were close and fragile. The government office where he had no power. Each situation was different, but the core was the same. Calm. Listening. Simple words. Honest intention. Daniel realizes something that many people never realize. Negotiation is not about getting what you want. It is about expressing who you are, clearly and respectfully, and allowing others to do the same. When both sides are heard, solutions appear naturally. Sometimes the solution is yes. Sometimes it is no. Sometimes it is not now. But when communication is clear, peace follows. As he walks, Daniel practices something silently. He practices slowing down his thoughts. He practices choosing fewer words. He practices breathing before speaking. This is not just English practice. This is life practice. And this is something you can do too. Right now, as you listen, notice your breathing. Notice how the story flows. This is how fluent English feels. Not rushed. Not forced. Just steady. A few days later, Daniel receives a call. It is about the job opportunity. The final decision. The call is short. The offer is real. The move is possible. Daniel listens carefully. He asks questions. He thanks the person on the phone. He does not answer immediately. He says, "I need a little time to decide." This sentence is powerful. It shows confidence without aggression. It shows respect for himself and the other person. This is advanced negotiation in simple English. Later that evening, Daniel sits with Emma again. They talk. Slowly. Openly. They talk about fears and hopes. They talk about what they can build together. The decision is not easy, but it is shared. And whatever the final choice will be, Daniel knows something now. He will not lose himself in silence. And he will not lose others with harsh words. He has found balance. Let us step back now and speak directly to you, the listener, one last time. Everything you heard in this long story was designed for one purpose: to help you feel English, not fight it. To help you see that speaking well is not about sounding perfect. It is about sounding human. If you are learning English and you want to negotiate better, remember this. Slow down. Listen more than you speak. Use simple sentences. Say what you feel, not what you think you should feel. Ask questions. Accept silence. Respect yourself and others. This is the art of negotiation. And here is the most important takeaway of all. When your English becomes calm, your mind becomes calm. When your mind is calm, your words become strong. And when your words are strong, you can walk through the world with clarity, dignity, and quiet confidence. Thank you for staying with this story. Thank you for listening deeply. This has been JBC English Learning Academy, where English is not just a language, but a bridge between people, hearts, and understanding.